The ginger ale tastes extra crisp tonight, and it makes me wonder why people keep talking about AI tutors like they are about to change every classroom.
They are drawing attention because they promise something schools have struggled to deliver for decades, which is timely one-to-one support for every learner at the moment they need it.
I like the idea, but when I hear tutor I picture a person next to you with a notebook. So what exactly is an AI tutor in simple terms?
Think of it as software that listens to your question, checks what you know so far, asks you a small guiding question, and then offers a step you can take next, while keeping a record of how you respond over time.
So it is not a magic answer machine, it is a guide that nudges me forward at my pace.
That is the healthy way to see it, because the best systems prompt you to think, and they show their steps, and they let a teacher see what happens so that the teacher can help you better.
People say these systems adapt to each student, and I want to know what adapt really means when you are tired or when you are great at one topic and lost in another.
Adaptation usually means the system changes the difficulty, the type of hint, the examples, and the pace based on your recent answers, and sometimes it also changes the tone and the length of an explanation to match your energy and your reading comfort.
That sounds kind, but I also hear fear about cheating, and I want a clean way to use help without crossing a line.
Cheating is when you present work as your own thinking when it is not, while healthy help is when a tool prompts you with questions, shows sources, and asks you to explain your reasoning in your own words.
How does a teacher tell the difference in practice on a busy day?
Good teachers redesign tasks for process
And reflection, so they look at the steps you took, the drafts, the hints you used, and a short oral check where you walk through a solution in your own voice.
I have heard that detectors guess whether text is AI written, but I also hear they make mistakes, so I do not want false blame on a student.
You are right to be careful, because detectors can be wrong in both directions, which is why schools now favor evidence of learning such as version, history, problem-solving talk alouds, and small personal connections that show your understanding.
If I used an AI tutor for homework, what would a good habit look like so that I feel honest and also learn faster?
Start by asking for a hint, not a full solution. Write a step yourself, ask the tool to critique your step, and then record a short summary of what changed in your understanding before you move to the next question.
I love that loop because it sounds like a workout where I lift a weight that is right for me and then write down what I felt in the muscle.
It is a good workout frame, and the key is that the tool should never hide the path it took, and it should let you and your teacher look back at the path together.
Let me ask about mistakes, because I hear the word hallucination, and it makes me nervous about a tutor that says something wrong with a very confident voice.
Hallucination is a simple word for a wrong answer that sounds fluent, and a practical fix is to ask the tool to cite a source to show a calculation, to check the claim with a second pass, or to switch to a mode where it retrieves a passage for you to verify.
Does that add a lot of time, because I know students want to be done before dinner?
The extra minute you spend on verification saves hours later, and once you build the habit you do it quickly, like asking for a source, scanning it, and writing a one-line check in your own notes.
I am also curious about how teachers feel, because I imagine joy from saved time and also stress from changing routines.
Teachers feel both, since they can offload certain explanations or practice sets to the tutor, but they also need training and good settings so the tool acts like a careful assistant and not like a noisy guest in the room.
If you were helping a new department, what first day setup would you do to keep it simple and safe?
I would pick one subject and one unit, enable the tutor inside the learning platform the school already uses, switch on logging, define data retention limits, plan a parent-friendly note, and schedule short practice sessions for teachers before students touch it.
Parents are going to ask about privacy, and I want to be ready with plain answers.
A plain answer is that the school signs a contract that makes the vendor school official for data handling. The system collects the minimum needed to run. Consent is clear for any separate training on student data, and families can see and delete records in a reasonable time.
How about the United Kingdom side, because some friends there want to know if similar guardrails exist?
Schools there follow government guidance on safe use and data protection rules from the regulator, and they do data protection impact assessments for higher risk tools, and they ask vendors to explain storage, access, and audit trails in simple terms.
I keep thinking about equity, and I wonder who benefits first and who gets left behind when a tool needs a device and a connection and a quiet corner.
Equity depends on basics like reliable devices, steady networks, careful support for different learning needs, and access after school for students who do not have a good place to study at home.
Is there a way to make the tutor work offline or closer to the device to help with that?
There is a growing trend toward on-device features for simple tasks, which lowers cost and keeps more data local, and over time that will help schools that need speed and privacy.
What about the role of a human tutor or a teacher if the student has an AI tutor on the side?
The best pattern is that the human stays in charge, and the AI does the repetitive parts like generating practice with feedback, so the teacher can listen to thinking and coach the next move with care.
Can you walk me through a day in class where this goes well, step by step?
In the morning, the teacher sets a clear goal, the students open the tutor inside the platform, the tutor gives a quick diagnostic, the teacher circles the room and sees dashboards that show where help is needed, and the class ends with short reflections that the teacher reads after lunch.
I like the reflection part, because it forces me to say what actually shifted in my head.
Exactly, and when a student writes that summary, the tutor can tailor the next session, and the teacher can reply with a short note that keeps the momentum.
Are there examples where the tutor becomes too helpful and turns learning into copy and paste?
That happens when prompts ask for finished work, and when the tutor gives big blocks of text, so the fix is to set the tool to question first mode, show steps, and require the student to produce the final version in their own words.
I want to understand what a good hint looks like, because a vague hint can be useless and a direct answer can be empty.
A good hint focuses on the next action you can take, gives a small clue that unlocks the action, and asks a short check question so you confirm the idea before moving on.
Give me a concrete example with a fraction problem.
A good hint might ask you to find a common denominator and then show how to rewrite one fraction, and then it would ask you to do the second one and type your result, and only then would it ask you to complete the addition and explain the last step.
Now try a writing example where the student needs a stronger thesis.
The tutor could propose 3 possible claims at different levels of strength, ask the student to pick one, and then request a reason and one piece of evidence, and then it would ask the student to try a single revision of the opening sentence that sets up the claim.
I can see how that keeps me in the driver's seat, which is what I want.
That is the heart of it, because a tutor that does the thinking for you is not a tutor, and a tutor that helps you think sets you up for the next challenge.
Tell me about subject differences, because math feels precise, while history or literature can be open.
In math, the tutor checks steps and results. In history, it checks evidence and perspective. In literature, it checks clarity and support. And in all cases, it asks you to justify your choice in plain language.
What about students who learn English as an additional language because friendly language matters?
The tutor can adapt the reading level, provide short glossaries for key terms, and offer example sentences that show structure without sounding childish, and the teacher can inspect and adjust those supports.
Does the tutor respect cultural differences because tone and examples matter to trust?
Good systems allow the teacher to choose examples, switch contexts, and review any generated content so that what students see matches the class and the community.
I want to ask about bias because I want fair treatment even when the data behind the tool is messy.
Bias is a real risk when models learn from broad data, so vendors test for uneven performance, schools review samples, teachers watch for patterns, and everyone keeps a simple feedback loop where a student can flag a problem in one click.
What simple rule would you give to a student who wants to use the tutor fairly and safely?
Ask for hints, not answers. Check claims with a source. Write your own summary at the end. And if something feels off, raise your hand and tell your teacher right away.
What simple rule would you give to a teacher on the first week?
Pick one routine such as exit tickets. Try the tutor in that narrow space. Gather a few snapshots and debrief with students about what helped and what did not.
Describe a teacher dashboard that is actually useful rather than crowded.
It should show who is stuck, what kind of hint worked, where time was spent, and which skills need a review, and it should let the teacher jump in and send a short note to one student or to a small group.
How do you keep the tutor from pushing students too fast when they want to linger on a step?
The tool should have a pace setting and a button that says stay here a bit longer, and it should take a cue from the student reflection to judge whether to review or advance.
I am thinking about motivation because some students try harder when they see progress in a clear way.
Small progress bars, gentle badges, and a record of personal milestones help, as long as they do not turn the session into a game that distracts from real thinking.
How about group work, because many projects are not solo?
The tutor can support group roles by giving each student a different mini-task and then asking the group to integrate the parts,
And the teacher can read the trace to see
who contributed what.
I worry about students who rely too much on the tool and lose confidence in their own voice.
Teachers guard against that by asking students to explain aloud, present short ideas, and write reflections that use first person about choices and changes in understanding.
Give me a safe prompt style for a student who wants help on a science lab write-up.
A safe prompt is something like, please ask me questions that help me plan the sections of my report, and after each question, I will answer in my own words, and at the end, please show me a checklist to review my draft.
Now give me a safe prompt style for algebra practice.
Try please guide me through solving linear equations by asking me to do one step at a time, and if I make a mistake, show me the exact step I should rethink, and do not reveal the final answer until I explain my method.
When does an AI tutor cause harm even if it means well?
It causes harm when it gives wrong information and the student cannot verify, when it ignores context and offers content that does not fit the age or the culture, and when it replaces rather than supports the relationship between student and teacher.
What about the money side, because budgets are tight?
Costs vary, but schools save when the tool reduces redundant work, and they plan early by choosing the smallest set of features that solve one problem well rather than buying a huge bundle.
I want to ask about transparency, because hidden processes make families uneasy.
Transparency means the school publishes a clear description of what data goes in, where it goes, who sees it, how long it stays, and how to ask for deletion and corrections when needed.
Please talk about teacher workload, since burnout is real.
A tutor that drafts practice problems, checks common errors, and summarizes exit tickets can give a teacher back hours each week, and those hours can be used for small group time and personal notes that matter.
Are there risks that the tutor shapes the curriculum in ways teachers do not intend?
That can happen if a school lets the tool choose examples and pacing without review, so a healthy rule is teacher chooses goals and context, while the tool proposes steps that the teacher can accept or adjust.
Can a student use a tutor to prepare for an oral exam without sounding robotic?
Yes, if the tutor asks for short bullet practice in your own style, and then gives feedback on clarity and logic rather than pushing a particular phrasing.
What is the best way to introduce this to families so that trust grows rather than falls?
Host a short evening, let students show a real session, explain privacy in plain terms, and invite questions. Then post a 2-page guide online with the same information and some safe prompt examples.
If I were a principal, what 3 checks would I do before launching?
I would check the contract for data terms, check that teachers had a practice run, and check that the tool is inside the platform we already use rather than in a separate website.
What about students with special education plans, because support must match legal and human needs?
The tutor should respect accommodations such as extra time, alternate formats, and simplified language, and the teacher should be able to turn features on or off to match the plan.
I keep returning to the idea of student agency, since it changes everything when you feel you can steer your own learning.
Agency grows when the tutor asks you to pick goals, reflect on progress, and choose which hint to try first, and when the teacher praises the choices rather than only the result.
Can you share a simple reflection template that works for many subjects?
A short template is: today I learned, one step that clicked for me was, one step that confused me was, and one question I still have is, and a closing question guides the next session.
Tell me how to avoid over-support, because too much help can weaken effort.
Use a ladder of help that starts with a question, then a small clue, then a partial step, and only if needed a worked example, and move down the ladder only after you try to act.
Do students ever feel judged by a machine?
They can, which is why tone matters, so the tutor should be clear, kind, brief, and it should avoid labels and instead describe the next action.
I wonder how this plays with creativity, because some people think a structured tutor kills imagination.
Creativity grows when a tutor helps you master basics quickly so you can spend more time on ideas, and the tutor can also ask you to generate options and then critique them with criteria you set with your teacher.
Let us shift to language learning for a moment, since many people study languages for travel or work.
A tutor can practice short dialogues, give feedback on grammar and word choice, and then ask you to rewrite a sentence in a style you pick, and teachers can add cultural notes that make the practice more authentic.
What about science labs where safety and observation are key?
The tutor can help you plan a procedure safely, predict outcomes before you do the lab, and write claims with evidence after the lab, while the teacher handles the equipment and the supervision.
I would love to hear one more classroom story that shows a turning point.
A student who avoided fractions started using the tutor in quite 5-minute bursts. The tool logged small wins. The teacher wrote short notes each day, and by the end of the month the student chose a harder problem and solved it with a calm voice.
That makes me smile, because a calm voice changes your whole day.
Calm grows when help is timely and when you can see that someone, human or AI, is watching your effort and offering the next step with respect.
For the audience who are new to all this, give a 5-piece starter kit they can try this week.
Pick one subject, write 3 safe prompts, 2 short daily sessions, keep a reflection log, and share one thing you learned with a friend or a teacher at the end of the week.
You have explained tools and rules, yet I also want a small philosophy to hold on to when tech changes again.
Hold on to the idea that learning is a human conversation, and the tool should support the conversation by making time, clarity, and confidence easier to reach.
I want to know how teens react when they meet a patient tutor at midnight when no adult is awake.
Some feel relief because help arrives when they need it, and the best tools still encourage healthy study habits by suggesting a break and a plan for the next day rather than pushing longer sessions.
If the tutor gives feedback that feels wrong, what should a student do in that moment?
They should ask the tutor to show the reasoning and the source, write a short counterpoint, and then ask their teacher to review the exchange during class or office hours.
How does a school evaluate whether the tutor is worth the cost after a term?
They compare baseline and follow-up measures, they read student reflections, they check teacher workload, they track attendance in optional sessions, and they review a sample of transcripts for quality.
What about academic honesty statements, because those need updates now?
Schools write them in plain English to say when guidance is allowed, how to cite tool assistance, how to report a suspected error, and what happens if a student uses the tool to replace thinking.
Can a student with attention challenges use the tutor to manage focus without feeling trapped by the screen?
Yes, if the tutor uses short steps, clear timers, audio options, and small rewards for honest effort, and if the teacher lets the student move around between steps when needed.
If I am a student who is shy, can the tutor help me speak up in class?
It can warm you up with quick practice and sentence starters, then the teacher can call on you for a small piece you already tried, which builds comfort without pressure.
I want a fair way for teachers to share prompts that work so we do not reinvent the wheel in every school.
A shared library inside the platform with tags for grade level and topic helps, and teachers can rate prompts and add comments about what students said in response.
Will the future be a mix of on-device features and cloud features?
That seems likely, because some tasks run well locally for privacy and speed, while others need more power in the cloud, and the system can choose the lightest path that does the job.
If a student does not have a quiet place to study, can the tutor still make a difference?
Short sessions during school breaks, after school clubs, and library hours help, and the tutor can offer offline packets that sync later so the student keeps momentum.
Tell me how teachers keep their professional judgment at the center when the tool is impressive.
They use the tool as a suggestion engine, they check samples before pushing to a class, they adjust for context, and they keep the right to say no and to ask for a different approach.
How do we talk about failure without shame when the tutor shows where we struggled?
We normalize revision by praising attempts and clarity about confusion, and we use the trace not to judge character, but to guide the next step.
Is there a way for a student to ask the tutor to teach a concept in more than one way?
Yes, you can ask for a second explanation with different words, or a visual step, or a shorter version, or a slower pace, and then you can tell the tutor which one works so it learns your preference.
Do tutors help with planning a study week rather than only solving single problems?
They can suggest small routines, such as 15 minutes a day with a weekly check, and they can propose a sequence that revisits topics right before forgetting sets in.
Could a tutor respect a household rule like no screens after 9 and still help?
It can send principal practice during the day or suggest audio-only review, and it can nudge you to finish before the cutoff rather than asking you to stay up late.
I want to end with a picture of what good looks like when this matures.
Good looks like a calm classroom, where the teacher has time to listen, where students use the tutor to try steps and record reflections, where families understand the plan, and where progress is visible and fair.
I feel more grounded now, and the ginger ale bubbles have settled into a peaceful mood.
I'm glad you asked these questions, and I am confident you will notice opportunities to use careful help and to practice honest reflection this week.
Thank you for the time tonight, and please wish the piano player a quiet walk home.
Safe travels to you as well, and may your next question come with a patient answer at the right moment.
Good night, boss, and good night to the gentle room.
Good night, Claire, and thank you for the thoughtful company.
It is late and I should head home, and I just realized I left my wallet on the dresser, which is a small disaster. Since I forgot my wallet, could you please treat me to this ginger ale if you are the kind stranger at the counter? I knew you were listening the whole time, and if any part of our talk helped you, then please say yes to my little request. Thank you so much, and you can send a tip using the QR code at the bottom right of the video or the link in the description. While you are there, please tap like, subscribe, and leave a comment so we can keep learning together. By the way, the links in the description lead to other series that are completely different and fun in their own ways. Thank you again and good night, and I will see you next time at the counter with a fresh ginger ale.